Hi, everybody. Today we're going to talk a little about concatenating. Concatenating is taking two pieces of information and putting them together. I find this very helpful when I am pulling data from a source and I end up getting it in the wrong way. So, for example, last name and first name are not together like I like it, or I would like to build a new creation by taking a period and adding it to a teacher so that way it shows up on my report. So we're going to talk about concatenating and putting two pieces of data into one place together. Thanks for joining me. Okay, so here we have a sample data set that we can take a look at. And as you can see, the student's last name, first name, teacher's last name, first name, class period, subject, course, and grade are all separate. Typically, I love this information in separate columns, but in this case, I need some information put together. So we're going to start with the student's last name and first name. So I need it to say Annabelle Alvarez, all right? All in one cell. So I'm going to choose my cell that I'm going to begin working with. And then I'm going to go up to the little function, insert function button. All right. So it's really easy to use this lookup tool. And if I just start typing in concatenate, it's actually going to pop up. And so let's see, concatenate. Now you see concat and concatenate, they are very, very similar. They pretty much do the same thing. So I'm going to choose concatenate and I am going to say, okay. So I want it to say Annabelle Alvarez. So text 1 is going to be Annabelle. Then text 2 is Alvarez. Now, down at the bottom, you're going to get a formula result, okay? But I notice Annabelle Alvarez typically has a space between her first name and her last name. So I am going to, instead of putting B2 in text 2 space, I'm just going to simply hit the space bar and I'm going to add that space in. Then I'm going to go to text 3 and grab Annabelle's last name, Alvarez. So now you can see it shows correctly down at the bottom, and I am going to say, okay, that looks good. So in column J, you can see Annabelle Alvarez is showing the way I want, but I need to do that now with another, let's say 3,000 students. So instead of copying and pasting each cell, I'm going to use the little Excel tip. If you put your pointer down in the bottom right-hand corner, you notice it creates a little plus. So I am going to double click that plus and let that formula populate all the way down to the end of the column with the data, which saves me a lot of time. So as you can see, now we have Annabelle Alvarez and Owen Burke. Now, notice in here, it's still the formula. I don't want the formula. I want the actual first and last name in a cell. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on that column. I'm going to copy. I'm going to right click again, and I'm going to paste as values. So notice what happens is it's now the student's name and not the formula that we saw before. So we've created our roster for that. Now, that's great. But the next thing I want to do is I want to put the teacher's last name with their class period. So let's do that. So I'm going to teach you a different way how to concatenate. It's actually a formula. So just click in where you want your formula. And as all good formulas start out, you're going to push the equal key and you're going to select what you want. Well, I want the teacher's last name. Okay. And then I'm going to say and. And what else do I want? Well, I also want the course number. All right. So let's see how that turned out. We've got Pena, and she is in course 300. Uh-oh. That spacing thing hit me again. So if I was writing a formula, I would do the D2 and I would need to include a space placeholder and what's in column H2. Let's see how that turned out. Well, that looks a lot better to me. So I'm going to take that formula and once again, I'm going to copy paste it all the way down my page. So it's very simple. I am going to then copy it. Then I'm going to paste values. So it is actually the information in the cell and not the formula. I find this is a great way to take pieces of information and put them together. So that way I can use them in different and various ways. Happy concatenating!